What's up, guys? You already know it's Mr. Bridges on top. You already know it's the show, the pre-snap read. And we here live in effect. You know, this your boy Bridges on top. Make sure you follow all platforms on Bridges on top. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's TikTok, that's Facebook, that's MySpace. We going all the way back there. If you want to follow me on those platforms, follow me on Bridges on top. Make sure you like, subscribe, Bridges on top too for the YouTube page. And make sure you follow the pre-snap read, on YouTube, Twitter, and IG. But I got one of my guests this week, man. He didn't show up last week, and you already know who it is. It's the boy from North Carolina. The Kakalaki boys on here today, man. The Kakalaki boys on here today. But, this the doggy dog world, Jerry Goodson, man.
What's up, man? What's up, man? Jerry Goodson in the building. Happy to be back, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yes, we are going to get to that. Yes, sir, Mr. Campbell. We are going to get to that. Hey, trust me. Trust me. If them Campbell boys win, trust me. So somebody gonna be smoking some cigarettes, and I ain't a smoker. Somebody gonna go to 7-Eleven and get a pack of Campbell. We're gonna get a pack of Campbell for you guys, bro. You're gonna get a pack of Campbell. But first thing first, we're gonna start the show with some news that we kind of knew that was coming. We just didn't know when it was coming, but everybody knew it was coming. UAPB head coach Doc Gamble has been let go, has been fired for UAPB. That's crazy. That I say for me, I think it's crazy for that it took this long. Like, you can see the team has talent, but it's just at a standstill at certain times, or a standstill in games. They could win certain games, but they're just not giving over that hump. So, once players are not giving over that hump, it's for the coaches to do their job. I'm gonna let Jerry talk about this because he's way more in the collegiate area as far as actually playing 4 years, 5 years, or whatever. So, Jerry, what's your analysis on UAPB head coach?
It's definitely well deserving. From what happened, a couple weeks back with the fight and everything, it wasn't a good look. Team.
That was Southern and
I'm sure.
TV.
I'm sure. But UAPB, I thought you said okay. I'm sure. UAPB. Yeah. They really, well, their program has not really been good for a little while now. I don't think it was wrong for them to fire him. I think it was actually a great decision that they made, especially with how the SWAC conference is going. It's a lot of teams that are getting better. We got FAM that's doing really well. We got Jackson State that's doing really well. All these teams are hiring, great head coaches that put them in position to win. You got Grambling that actually gave us a good fight, last week. So these teams are getting better. UAPV is just the next team up to kind of, hey, we got to get on board or we're going to get left behind.
Definitely. That is, plus the thing about this, Jerry, is in the middle of the season. It's in the middle of the season. Like, letting your head coach go in the middle of the season is crazy. And, as a player, you like, where do we go from here? Like, how do we move without a head coach? How do we move without the person that, that brought me to this school? How do we finish the rest of the season out?
Yeah.
So, you think as far as those lines when you're a player and you don't know like what's next.
I've been in that situation before, actually. When I was in school at Winston, our coach got fired. He got fired for breaking a team, well, not a team rule, but a university institutional rule. And we had to have an interim head coach for a certain time being. It's not a good process to go through. Because everything that you learn from that head coach, the culture of the program was all brought by that head coach. And the next guy that kind of came in wanted to kind of put some other stuff in that we didn't really agree with or we weren't really used to. And it was kind of a culture change. And that's a lot to change in the middle of a season. So I don't really expect them to kind of recover. I won't really expect them to recover anyway, but I guess it's right now it's like they're giving up on the season. It's like it's over with. We just gonna use right now all the way until the next season to find us a great head coach. They'll lead our boys to the promised land.
Definitely, and like looking back from years from the past, UAPB has been a team that can win the SWAC championship. They can do those things. So, just looking at it now where PV is at now, and you look in the past where they have came from, and, they can be contenders, and they have the facilities, they have the campus, they have all these things that even to the logo and the color scheme of their team or their colors and their uniforms, like they have everything working for them. So it's just that one piece that they need, and it's literally coaching. And right now, right now it's 2-5. They 0-4 in the SWAC, and doesn't look like it's getting no better at all. But in the lighter terms, like, where do we go from now, Jerry? Where do we go from now?
I mean, for now, it's just the season is you got to just do what you can do. If I'm interim head coach coming in, you got to stick with the plan that's already in place, and kind of just ride it out and see where things go. You don't want to implement a new plan halfway through the season. You don't want to implement a new offense, a new defense halfway in the season, because those things need time to develop, and a new head coach will be brought in to do that. So for right now, it's just you got to just do the best you can, run the same offense. Try to keep that same culture, even though you're a different person. Keep the same team rules. Everything must remain the same until the end of the season. Because I mean, we're almost through over half of it through the season now. So I mean, you got to just kind of just ride it out until next year.
Definitely. And like my thing is now is the time to find a new head coach before December. Like, you have to find a new head coach before December, or that December, January time. Because if you don't, like, time is getting wasted for recruiting. Like, right after football season, it's recruiting time. It's no off. It's like, really, it can't be no off season. We got to be like these Power 5 schools. We got to be recruiting 24/7. 24/7.
To be honest, man, great programs are recruiting right now. If you have a good recruiting coordinator, he doesn't really need to be at practice all the time. He should be out recruiting or out, doing something to help develop the team. I know a lot of schools, when they have bye weeks, they'll recruit during that time period. But without a head coach, it's kind of hard to do so. So I think you have made a great point. Making that hire as soon as possible without putting a rush on it will be a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. And to Mr. Campbell's point, like, where do they find a coach? So that's another thing too. Like, there's a couple of coaches out there right now that's doing good. Like the Benedict College coach, he's doing a phenomenal job of turning that program around. Like, he came in the COVID year. He had a whole year to get his players and, turn that program around. You would never think Benedict College would be a football team because they're a basketball team. They're based on basketball and volleyball. So, we got a couple of coaches out there. But my thing is to you, Jerry, would you go the regular route as far as getting a coach? Or would you try to find somebody that's from the NFL, that has NFL pedigree, that has been coaching, and put him as a head coach to compete with everybody else in the SWAC and in the MEAC too?
For me, I'm going after a coach that has NFL experience. And the reason I say that is because if you look at, a lot of these other coaches that played in the NFL, we got Dion, we got people that coach in the NFL, you got a lot of coaches, man, are coming back down and coming to these HBCUs and coaching. So right now it's kind of a trend thing, and they better hop on the train while they have it. But I do agree. I do think that it is a good idea to kind of hop on that train and find an NFL guy, because those guys, they know the inside of the game. They're not, it's not their first rodeo. They've been through college. They've been to where these players want to go. So I don't know why they wouldn't go that route. And on top of that, it's a recruiting piece. If I played in NFL, I can go to these high schools and say, hey, man, I know what it takes to get in the NFL. If you come play for me, I will get you there. You don't want to say exactly that, but you can say something to that nature to make the student feel like, oh, I'm in the right place. I'm going to the right school to make the right decision. If you pick up a smaller Division II coach, they may be a better coach than an NFL coach, to be honest with you. But what that NFL coach attracts is the best athletes.
Yeah.
And that it'll be harder. That's always going to be that thing. It's going to be hard for a college coach that didn't have any NFL experience to attract guys that want to go to the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
So for me, it's like, if I feel like this, if I was a high school recruiter and UAPB came to me as far as like just a regular Joe Smo coach that either coached at FCS level or Division II level, I entertain it, but I wouldn't entertain it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, I got Deion, I got FAMU, I got Hugh Jackson, I got Eddie George. Like, I'd rather go to them schools, and if those don't work out, I can definitely go to Southern.
Right.
It is what it is. But once you if you get that coach, that NFL pedigree coach that knows the game in and out, watch film, has those connections to the NFL or NFL team in that area, it's everything. It's everything, because now people really can't entertain. People really can't entertain those conversations. Like, oh, okay, you actually played 7, 8 years in the league. Okay, you actually went to the playoffs, and you played for an iconic team. Oh, okay, I can come here. I can definitely entertain that. So just the entertainment factor of everything, because it's called sports entertainment for a reason, and you want to bring the entertainment factor to sports. Just like with Eddie Robinson and Prime, that was pure entertainment. I don't care what nobody says. The SWAC needed that. The SWAC needed a rivalry. The SWAC needed a buzz in the middle of the season. The SWAC needed that. So if you want to bring the more entertainment pageantry, I don't even say pageantry, just sports entertainment to the SWAC, that's how you do it. You get celebrity coaches, you make these moves, and you start these rivalries, and that's how you get good football games and good players back to the SWAC.
Yeah. You got to think about it too, man. A lot of these people, like going to Jackson State, they're going to these games, they're not only fans of Jackson State. They got people that are going to the games that are fans of Deion Jackson. Deion Sanders. So, I mean, they want to say, I want to see Deion. I want to see Deion. He's one of my favorite players. Like, if older generation, they watch Deion play football in the NFL, watch him play in college. You know what I'm saying? So this is a second opportunity to see him live in person. Like, dang, that's Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying? That's creating a new fan for Jackson State. The same thing can be said about UAPB. If they name a head coach that is from the NFL or played the NFL. I mean, they got a lot of people that play professional football as their alumni. I don't know if that's a route you want to go. But I mean, I think selecting the NFL guy is the right decision.
Definitely. Just like for me, I just say one name that come to mind. He's coaching right now. I don't know if he's still coaching. I know he coached at South Carolina, the University of South Carolina Gamecocks. Is Joe Horn. Like, he's been coaching for a little minute. I think that would be a good move, just to get somebody that's already been coaching that can get a head coach job. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. Because at this point, I mean, Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, I don't think they're gonna come to UAPB.
You never know what I'm saying? Never know. I mean, I don't know, man. Because I think Ray Lewis' son playing at Virginia Union now, so he know about HBCUs.
Yeah, I know you know about HBCUs.
But I don't know, man. I don't know if he'll come. Ray Lewis is the guy everybody wants, and I can see why. But I don't know if he's even had that thought of coaching in his mind.
Okay, I got you. So let's go on this next topic, man. I want to just bring this up because it's around homecoming season. It's around that time where everybody go back to their school. Everybody go back to campus. Everybody do that walk on the set. Everybody see their old friends, their old little flings, their homeboys and all this other stuff. Being black and never been into HBCU game or even being black and never been on an HBCU campus, which if you're from the South, I feel like that's really really crazy, if you're from the South, to me personally, because that's where you want to take your kids to. I was introduced to HBCU as far as South Carolina State. My dad said, you did, like, true story. I was sitting down, it was a Friday night. Back in the day, you ain't got no internet like that. So you looked at the newspaper for movie time.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yes, people don't know about it. Back in the day, you looked at newspaper for movie times. And so I'm like,
small. That print it was so small.
Yeah, the print was so small. You had to look at it, make sure you're going to the right movie. So I was doing that, and my dad said, "Okay, you got two choices. You can either go to a football game or go to the movies." And I thought about it. I was like, kind of want to go to the movies. And I really, Then he told me, "Okay, we're going to see South Carolina State play." Oh, you want to go to the movies?
Yeah.
And I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, I was battling with myself. I was like, I do want to go to the movies, but a football game do sound intriguing. So he asked me one more time. He was like, all right, do you want to see South Carolina State play or go to the movies? And at that time, I was like, man, the movie's going to be there. The movie's always going to be there. So I was like, let me go to South Carolina State. They play at Wofford College. So it was a different environment, but like when I saw like thousands of black people just on one side, then thousands of white people on the other, then actually seeing South Carolina State band, their champagne girls, their dancers, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I never saw this many black people in my life. I never saw this camaraderie of black people cheering for the same thing, putting all their differences aside, cheering for this one school.
Yeah.
And just watching everybody being amazed with the band. And when you're a little kid, you're like, wow, this is amazing. This is like the best thing that ever happened. So, just having those moments with a little kid, especially in the South, up north is kind of leeway because like they're not really like, I can say back from slavery, people got away from the North to get away from slavery, even though there are HBCUs up north, but it really started in the South. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I was like, yeah. So for me, it's like you have to bring your kid. If you're black in America, you gotta bring your kid to HBCU just to let them know what it feels like, or what it looks like, what their people look like.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but at the same time, man, you got to think about, we got a lot of black folks where they're the first time generation that has aspirations of going to college. A lot of families, everybody's not going to school. You know what I'm saying? So with my background in teaching, man, I know a lot of kids that were in my class. I told them I'm going to Winston-Salem State. That's an hour from where I was. Like, what is that? I ain't never heard of that school. I ain't never heard of A&T. I ain't never heard of St. Aug. I ain't never heard of Shaw. Like, and I'm like, bro, what? You black and you ain't never heard of these schools, man? I'm like, yeah. I was like, did your people go to school? Nah. Your grandma go to school? Nah. Grandpa? Nah. And I mean, these kids are smart and intelligent, but they have just never provided the information about HBCU. So I don't know if I want to hold it against them, and say, oh, you take your black card or something like that. But it's definitely an experience you want to have. You want to have this experience fairly young, because I mean, me, man, all of my people went to Winston. So my grandmama went to Winston. My cousin went to Winston. My brother went to Winston. My dad went to Winston. I went to Winston. I got a little cousin in Winston. I got 2 little cousins in Winston right now. So it's like it runs through the blood.
Yeah.
It runs through the blood, man.
See, like my story is different because like a lot of well, I know that 2 people that, in my immediate family, they went to PWI. And I was the first one that actually went to HBCU. At that point in time, my mom was like, no, I don't want you to go to HBCU because they're party schools. I'm like, but at the end of the day, what is Clemson? Party school. Oh, what is Florida Gators? A party school, So I was like, you don't want me to go to HBCU because you have this stigma.
Right.
You have this idea that you don't even know. And at that point in time, HBCUs was the only one accepting me. So I got accepted to Benedict College Claflin, South Carolina State, Johnson C. Smith, and I think it was another school.
Man.
So
what your mom did, man, I ain't trying to say nothing bad about her, but a lot of people do that, man. The biggest mistake we make in life as Black individuals is believing information about Black people given to you by white people. Like they will tell you, oh yeah, those HBCUs, those kids don't learn anything. Like you don't know anything about HBCUs, so why are you even speaking on that? You know what I'm saying? It's really to break our universities down. Try to get people to stop going to the schools because they never wanted the schools in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to look at the education system, man. It's the same way. Like the way they talk about slavery now is the same thing. They'll put like, oh, slaves agreed to get to come to America and work for free. Like they say all type of stuff in these education books, man. It's crazy.
Definitely. And like for me, like I was saying, my mom didn't know nothing about HBCUs, and like literally, like me and my dad knew everything about HBCUs. So like we went up there for homecoming, we talked to some people, and we was like, okay, this is probably the school I'm gonna go to. So my mom, I had to sell my mom. That was the only thing I had to do. I had to sell my mom on it. So she went up there. The first person I met was this lady named Miss Robinson at Benedict. She's still at Benedict to this day. She didn't know me from a can of paint. She ain't know mama from a can of paint. She ain't know none of us. She was there when we first got there until I finished enrolling. She was there the whole time. Okay, blah 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 this, blah blah this. I'm gonna have your son right. Blah 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 this. She was like, "What's your number? Because if you do something, I'm gonna call you." Blah 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 this. And I'm like, "Bruh, like I'm looking like, okay, she doing the job for me, but who is this lady talking about? She gonna call me if I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah,
she gonna be looking up my grades and all that. I'm like, who is this lady low key? But to this day, man, I still keep in contact with her. Like to this day, I don't know where would I be without those relationships or those mother and father figures at a HBCU that really helped me, push my career along. Because if it weren't for them, I do not know if I would have graduated or got my college degree.
That's the beauty of an HBCU, man. We all say it takes a village to raise a child, and the same thing goes off when they go to school. That village is a HBCU. We got people at HBCUs working there for 30, 40 years. Everybody Black, so everybody is knowing like we want all of our kids to graduate and be successful. But I mean, man, it's different from a PWI. I went to a PWI my first year. I went to Lenoir-Rhyne University in Hickory, North Carolina. I had a full ride, played football there. I played ball there for a year. I'm like, man, something ain't right, man. Like I had a lot of different racist incidents. Not necessarily with the teachers, but it was more so the security around the campus. As far as the staff supporting you, it did not feel the same as what you would receive at a HBCU. At HBCU, it feels like that person is almost your auntie, like almost your uncle. Like they'll talk to you the same way that you'll talk to somebody at the cookout. Like if you ain't met your uncle at the cookout, he'll talk to you the same way. But at a PWI, it's just like, oh, you have to take this class to graduate, and if you don't, you get put out. You're not going to graduate. And it's very different lingos that go together. Like at an HBCU, they'll say, "Hey, man, you gotta pass the class. If you don't, you ain't gonna graduate." And then they'll help you do that. Like they're not going to just throw you out in the water and say you on your own. They'll check on you like, hey man, how you doing in this class? I know you need this class to graduate. How you doing? You good? Everything straight? How your mama doing? How your family doing? They'll ask you about all these different type of things that make you feel like it's a home to you.
Definitely. And homecoming is literally here. Different schools having their homecoming. So please, mom and dad, take your child to one of these homecoming games. Let them experience the Black experience, not just HBCU experience, just the Black experience, man. It's on a whole nother level, man. Definitely.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, I got one more thing I'm gonna say before we move on, man. I was touring. What campus was I on? I think I was at North Carolina A&T, and I was with a white guy. He had never been to a HBCU. He just knew from what stereotypes about Black individuals as what they are. And he was like, man, after we left, he was like, man, like I've never been on a campus and felt surrounded by so many Black people that were so intelligent. And I was like, what you mean, bro? Like, he was like, yeah, it's just so many intelligent Black people around me, man. I love being here because I don't feel this in the real world. And it kind of made me think, like, that's real though, because what he sees in society is just, what he sees on TV. Black folks always in the news, something like that. But when he comes to HBCU, he sees a whole different side of our culture. Like, man, these people really smart. They really on the same level we on. Like, I didn't know this. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want everybody to be able to witness and experience. That's why, like me, I'm not against minorities, or not minorities, but like white people going to HBCUs to experience it, because I do think it helps mold the future so we can do better as a people.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I love that. Well, let's talk about this malarkey right here, man.
Oh,
this malarkey right here, man. This, it really grinds my gears. Stuff like this. Jared, I want you to go ahead and put your $1.50, $20 in there, and I'm gonna give the SWAC and Southern and everybody else an earful.
Dog. So Southern and PV fight. 21 players suspended for one game. Plus fines were handed out each school. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. That fight was crazy. And it puts a bad light on not only those two schools involved, Southern and PV. It puts a bad light on all HBCUs. And I understand people fight. I understand that. I play football. We've been in fights at games before, but it lasted so long, dog. Like it was just going and going. Like it wasn't like it was a boom, boom, break it up. They were just going, bro. It was like, man, it looked like a lack of institutional control. That's what it appeared to be to me. And that is what everybody else probably saw as well, that do not go to HBCUs or not supporting HBCUs at the moment. And it kind of took away from the light that we want to be put into. And then one game, I don't know, that one game thing ain't really enough. But to me, it need to be at least a couple, or 2, 3, because they was going in, dog.
Yeah, bro. My first thing, the fine. The fine, I feel like the fine was necessary. I feel like it put the athletic department and the school on notice. Like,
yeah.
The fine is like, okay, if y'all gonna do this, we're gonna take something from y'all where y'all gonna hurt, because that's the one thing that HBCUs need is money. And you take money away from an HBCU, that hurts. That really hurts them. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's FAMU. I don't care if it's Howard. If you take some money from an HBCU, it hurts. We this close on welfare check. Now you done took something away. We down here now. Shoot.
We looking up.
Yeah, we looking up like, how in the hell we get here? You just shaking your head. But just for me, the 21 players, one game, that's asinine. That's crazy. I don't agree with that. Like, I think that's the most stupidest thing they could have did because you fight. First of all, you fight that game. No players got suspended that game, from what I know, because the refs wasn't on the field and all this other stuff. So I'm like, so these jokers basically got to play a game. They got to play a game after they fought and did whatever they did. Then I'm like, okay, cool. They should at least get suspended for next week because you got video evidence. And if you really want to suspend somebody, you'll sit your butt down, right? I can vividly, like, if I had to watch it, I can watch it 5 to 10 times, but it's not that hard. Write the numbers down, put faces, call people, and if you don't want to cooperate, then I go up to the school. That's probably, I mean, if it has to go to that length of going up to the school, I understand why it took 2 weeks or 1 week or however you want to put it. But these boys got to play 2 games.
Yeah.
The game they fought, then the next week. So you basically gave them 2 freebies.
Yeah.
Then on suspend them 1 game. Then I look at their schedule. The games that they're not even playing don't even count. It really ain't gonna do nothing, Jerry. Like, if you gonna suspend somebody, do it where it hurts. I think Southern played Jackson the week after. Do it that game. Make it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Make it hurt. I think TV played Texas Southern. Do it that game. Do it that game too. Make it hurt.
Yeah.
Bruh, you gotta like, the one thing that the NFL do right is they, like, that I don't like, they do set an example.
Oh yeah, they'll do that.
Yeah, the NFL will set an example, and the SWAC right now is not setting an example for the rest of the SWAC, and other people that's looking at the SWAC be like, oh, they wilding over here. They don't know how to control. They don't know how to control their athletes.
Yeah, I mean, to me, man, it's almost like they put too much focus on the wrong thing. They focused on the fine and only gave a 1-game suspension. I think it should be, to me, I know you had your viewpoints on the fine. I have a whole different viewpoint because these are actions of people that represent the athletic program. This is not represent, I mean, but they're on the field to represent the institution, but I don't want this action to hurt the institution. To me, we are already struggling for money. So if you finding us, it's like, dang, man, we already in the hole. Like, we don't have the money to give. And I understand that's where it hurts. But for the people that are fighting, that are in the fights, that doesn't hurt them. That fine doesn't hurt them. That's the main ones that I think should be held liable, and the coach. So to me, a longer suspension is what I think I would have done. A longer suspension. I mean, 3 games, 2 games, like anything more than 1 game would be better. I think 3 is really what you want to go, but I do understand there's so many people that it's going to be hard to like get a game played. But I think the bigger picture is discipline, because it's things that are bigger than football. At the end of the year, it's probably going to be 21 players graduating going to the real world. You know what I'm saying? So if they go in the real world and they fight in their job, what's going to happen? They're not going to get, go to home for 1 day. Come back on Wednesday. They're not going to do that. You're fired. You're going to jail. Yeah. So to me, it should be a harsher consequence because we're trying to teach these young men how to be men. So that's just how I view it. But I do think the way that they went about it, it does have to go different levels. So it probably had to go to the SWAC conference office. Then from there, it probably had to go to the NCAA. So a lot of these, it might have took them much time because the different levels they had to travel through.
Okay, I can't understand that, but just me being a coach's perspective, like, I wouldn't even, like, if you out there brawling, bro, there's no place for that. Like, I feel like if you really out there brawling like that, I understand if things get heated during the field and all that stuff. I understand that, and it don't break out into a fight, just break out into a pushing contest. Okay, that's cool. Helmet ripped off. Okay, I can understand that. But actually just throwing blows, and the coaches did not just suspend nobody. Like the coaches didn't even try to suspend nobody. They just let these dudes play. Like we this is jail. Like y'all go ahead and brawl, and I'ma still give you everything you want.
Same time next week.
Yeah, that's what the coach is basically saying. Y'all just brawl. Okay, I can commend that. And I don't know what happened at practice. I can't say what happened at practice because I physically don't know. But at the end of the day, like you still gotta set an example to everybody, to the school, even to the other school, even to the SWAT. Like you gotta set that example. Like, hey, this is your punishment, and like I don't know. I don't know. I'm just different. I need written statements saying I'm sorry. Like, cause at the end of the day, now it's your name on the back of your jersey. So you just ain't playing for you. You playing for your family and your last name.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I mean,
each his own, man.
I know my coach, man. He coaches at Alabama A&M now. Coach Kenneth Boulware. He would always say, "I will always sacrifice a win for a player's mental development as a man. So if I can make you a better man at the end of the day, I'll sacrifice losing the game." And to me, I commend that because in life, it's bigger things than football. And the way things were handled, I don't know if that was shown as it being bigger things than football.
Yeah, definitely. But they got one game, so it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. But recap of week 6, you know what I'm saying? We got some games that, we want to talk about, just a recap of it. The trap game. Now actually we're gonna talk about the Thursday game of last week. This game. Whew.
Hey, the boys ain't playing, man.
Fly like an eagle through the sea. I want to fly like an eagle. boy, the band was playing that night. Boy, that's all I gotta say. 59 points. Boy. Morgan State did not have a chance at all.
Had a time last night.
Yeah, I mean, we was doing the show last week and we was keeping up with the score and everything. And like first quarter, we was like, all right, at least Morgan scored, what I'm saying? Then it got to the second quarter, and then it kind of just started getting shaky, man. You can tell who was, who had all their players conditioned as far as running and the depth of their players, and the athletes are just, Central just got them athletes right now. They really have a complete team. Even though they lost to Campbell, that was like one of their bad games that they played. But shout out to Campbell, they got the biggest offensive line in FCS. So I mean, when you're dealing with a big offensive line that can't move, that's kind of hard, and you never saw before.
Yeah.
But this team is for real. This team will shut you up. This team will score points on you. So,
I completely agree, man. I think, Central program has turned around a lot since, the times that I used to go watch their games. They won a lot of games this year that I didn't think they were going to win. And they winning by this margin. I didn't think they were going to win by this margin. So I'm happy to see where that program is going. And I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to surprise some people. Maybe not this year, but that program is trending in the right direction for years upcoming. 59-20, them boys showed out. You put 60 points on the board, you playing a good ball game. And the rule is if you hold a team under 21, most of the time you're gonna win the game. So great job.
Yeah, definitely gotta hold that team under 21. Shoot. This game right here, this Southern versus Alcorn game. This was like I told Robin and Kobe last week. I said this game is going to be a slobber knocker. Jay, you know what a slobber knocker is?
Tell them what a slobber knocker is, dog.
We going blow for blow. We is going all the way into the fourth quarter to that clock hit 0. We don't care what's going on during the game. We going blow for blow. Somebody gonna win. Somebody gonna win.
Blow for blow now. They was going blow for blow.
Cleveland. That's what the sobbing off is. Just going to distance, man. Going to distance, and this game was good. It really. I told them this game was going to be like a back and forth game. This game was going to be real competitive. And shout out to Southern for real, just for they turned it around. We didn't think Southern was going to turn it around as far as what they look like, and they had Coach Dooley out. They had him written out the first half of the season, but now the second half, Southern looks damn good. Southern looks good, like on all levels. They doing what they need to do to win the game. They're not overdoing stuff. They're not underdoing stuff. Right now, they're doing stuff just to win the game and just to get them to next week. Alcorn. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Do not stop, because Southern can slip up and lose a game. So Alcorn, you got Coach Manera. Keep doing what you're doing. Manera, I know Manera going to do what he do, like he always do. You can do what you do, but watch my shoes, like Scotty say. But at the end of the day, man, Alcorn, you still got a long way to go. Southern still got a long way to go.
Yeah. So, and I just knew Alcorn was going to win this game. I just knew it before the game, man. I was looking at this matchup. I'm like, man, Alcorn, the history of that program has always been very well. So I'm thinking, like, man, maybe they're getting things on track, because they only had lost 2 games, I believe, before. So I'm like, yeah, they definitely got to win this game right here. It was a great matchup. Both of these teams had the same record, I believe. I believe so.
Yeah.
And from the game, man, it was just going at it, back and forth. I do want to shout out August Pittry. I think he had 4 receptions for 127 yards. Like, he was going off. So shout out to Southern, man, for winning this game. Man, it's a big win for him, and kind of ride that wave into the next week.
Definitely. And sure, we are about to, it's week 7. It is definitely week 7. But before we get into that, make sure you follow the Pre-Snap Read on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, Bridges on Top, Pre-Snap Read. Make sure you do those things, Keep this page growing. Keep us motivated. When we see numbers go up, that's what we like. Like I said, once we get to the 5,000 subscribers, we are definitely going to do a giveaway. It just depends on when we hit those 5,000 subscribers, what the giveaway is. So you got to let us know. The ball is in y'all court. Once we get to 500, my bad, I think I said 5,000. 500 subscribers. When we get to 500 subscribers, we're definitely going to do a giveaway. So please. Subscribe. Bridges on Top.
What you want? Tell me what you want.
Exactly. But, game of the week right here, boy. We got Campbell 4-2 versus, JSU undefeated right now. And you got North Carolina Central 5-1 versus South Carolina State. A trap game. Think this game ain't gonna be a grind against the South Carolina boys, and it's in Orangeburg too. So, but Jerry, it's my favorite time of the week. It's my favorite time. Players of the Week award.
Yes, sir.
The City Boy Award.
City Boy.
It's a City Boy Award. You already know how we do it, man. And shoot, this boy been a City Boy for almost every week he been on here.
Boy, a city man. He a man now, dog. He done grown.
Yeah, shoot, he done moved his area code so far. He in Charlotte right now. That's how far he done moved his area code. He said he metropolitan. He going back and forth. That's what he doing. Dude, man, my boy D. Richard, man, 17 for 24, 217 yards, 4 touchdowns, 66 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's what I call filling the stat sheet from a quarterback perspective. That's just crazy, man. Jerry, man, what's your kudos to this man, young man right here?
No, it's not. He's only passing, like, he's not only passing the ball through the air. He got 217 yards for 4 TDs. That's not an easy thing to do. I mean, and then he got, not only that, he also ran 2 touchdowns for 66 yards. That's a lot, man. That's 2 touchdowns and 4. He had a total of 6 touchdowns. That's how many points is that? That's 30 points on the board.
One person.
No.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. Hell of a game.
Definitely hell of a game. And you know how we do on the Freestyle Read. He gonna tear the city up, but you know, city boy. He tearing the city up right now. He tearing Charlotte up right now. He said he done did too much havoc in the city. He said he tearing Charlotte up right now.
He done tore Raleigh up, dog. He moving on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This boy right here, Kayvon Britton, was going ham on them. But look at that boy on his ankles right now. Like he's on a stretch. Look, 32 carries, 277 yards for 4 touchdowns. This man almost had 300 rushing yards. I don't think y'all understand how many rushing yards this is. A football field is 100 yards. He ran that field twice and more. All over them boys. What you got, Rob?
Boy, this boy looked like Bo Jackson out there. It was like 33 right, 33 left, 33 up the middle. That's what they was doing the whole game. My thing was, boy, wasn't no tackling going on.
4 touchdowns, dog.
They couldn't tackle a soul. This boy toting the rock like he was playing NCAA football.
Hey, we know it's about to come back out again, so he might be getting ready for
it. Shoot, I guess he is. He said he wanted to be at an 84 and above. If my NCAA rating ain't an 84 and above, I'm calling their ass. But exactly. Even though they did lose the game, he did put an outstanding effort out on the field. You know, if you lose and you do something like this, you still city boy.
Yeah,
you still get that, bro. I don't care what anybody say. You still get that city boy award. This boy right here, he been doing this thing. I ain't gonna lie. For the past couple of weeks, he's been playing his game. He hasn't been doing the things that we were seeing from the beginning of the season. He's staying in his lane, and he's actually making his team win. Even though the numbers look low, but to Southern, that's everything right now. So McCray with 12 for 19, 199 yards and 2 touchdowns, man. That's you know, he's just carrying his team to victory with those stats. And like I told him last week, don't let him throw over 25.
Yep.
Do not let him throw over 25. Once he gets over that 25 range, we looking kind of shaky.
Yeah.
We looking kind of scary. Like, okay, can we really win this game? But yeah, this boy, he really stayed within his system. They made, how can I say it? They worked to his strength. They coached around his strengths.
Yeah, I agree, man. Going the ball for 19 times is not a lot for a quarterback. And to execute 12 times out of 19 is doing a hell of a job. He threw for 199 yards on 19 attempts. That's a first down every time he passed the ball. That's I think 10.6 yards per pass. And for 2 touchdowns, hey, he did good, man. They won the game.
Definitely. And, you know, this boy been on here a couple of times. He already know. City boy! Sure. I wish Robin was here. It's more fun with Robin because she really don't, she really don't like the little city boy thing.
Yeah,
I wish Robin was up for this. We miss you, Robin. Be good. Study up.
Hey, my guy I just talked about earlier, August Pitre, for 120 something. 120 something. And a touchdown. Look at him. Where he pointing at? First down. First down. He had 12 of those, 127 yards, 4 catches and a touchdown.
Woo! Jerry, every time he caught the ball, it was a first down.
Every time.
Every time. Hey, his nickname is Mr. First Down.
Mr. First Down. Mr. 10 yards.
Yeah. Mr. 10 yards, Mr. First Down. Prove it. Yeah, get that boy the ball. But guess what? That boy, guess what he get this week, guys? City boy. He get a City Boy Award, man. I love it, man. I definitely love the City Boy Award. These are some other, names that, they was in the bubble, but they didn't reach that. The only thing about Shedeur Sanders, he did through 2 interceptions. He threw 2 interceptions now. When you throw 2 interceptions, I'm kind of like, okay. And my thing is this: he didn't throw over 300 yards. But he get mentioned. He get mentioned now. Yeah, he get mentioned. Musa, he did pretty good this week. I mean, with the 22 for 36, that's kind of in his wheelhouse. I feel like he could have did a little bit more. K. Johnson, wide receiver for Bama State, 5 catches for 116. That's eating right there.
Yeah.
The only reason why I didn't put him up there, he didn't get a touchdown. You got to get a touchdown. Had to pop out. Sharif from FAMU, that's the same thing. 8 catches for 106. If you would have got a touchdown, stats would have been popping out. Bama State quarterback, he did good, but I don't know. I was debating on McCray. Like, I felt like McCray had a better game as far as he did. They needed McCray more.
Yeah.
Than Crawley. That's how I felt about that situation. Then we got Allen from Alcorn. He actually did his thing, even though there wasn't a losing effort. That 17 for 26. You only missed 9 passes.
Yeah.
You only missed 9 passes with 211 and 2 touchdowns. That's a lot. And Delaware State running back, how you say it? Gillies?
Yeah, Gillis.
Yes. So 16 carries, 123, and 1 touchdown, man. Shout out to the second person in the MEAC on the board. That's the second person in the MEAC on the board.
I ain't gonna lie, Ron. Shedeur should have been on that mother dog. But touchdown.
The only reason why I didn't put him on my 4 or 5 is because he threw 2 interceptions, and one of those interceptions my little cousin could have caught.
Well, he threw 5 touchdowns.
I know, Jerry. But
hold on.
But guess what, Jerry? He's still in the bubble. He wasn't outside the bubble.
He's in the bubble.
He's still in the bubble.
Now we in NBA playoffs. We in the bubble. If we doing NBA playoffs in the bubble, this man threw a touchdown to everybody in the starting 5. Come on, man.
But guess what? I can say that the same thing about Jeremy. He did his regular thing, and I didn't put him like it for me. Like I said, for Jeremy, he usually does better. He plays better. For Shedeur Sanders to throw them 2 interceptions, that's not Shedeur-ish. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's not Sanders-ish. Sanders don't throw interceptions. Sanders make them read. He like Tom Brady. Sanders gonna make the right read.
Okay, I give you that. He didn't play the best of his abilities, but he put up numbers. If somebody else put up them numbers, they'll be on that board. But it's not the best.
Yeah. Somebody else put up numbers, they'll be on that board. But Sanders didn't play like himself that game.
Okay, I respect that.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I got him on the bubble this week, bro. Oh Lord.
Oh.
But this week it should have stayed your ass at the dorm. It stay your ass at the dorm. No, don't even say nothing. You know how you about to get a whooping. Your mama be like, nope. I don't want to hear it.
And you better not cry.
So first thing first, both of Mississippi Valley State quarterbacks. I think these jokers only threw over for. Hold on. I think they only threw over for like 15, 13 yards. I'm looking at it right now. Jerry, both of the quarterbacks combined threw over 85 yards.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
One quarterback, 3 for 5, 96 yards, 1 touchdown. The other quarterback, 3 for 11, 16 yards, 0 touchdowns.
He really should have stayed home.
Bruh. What was going on?
Who was the quarterback coach?
they must be getting they players from Madden or something.
No. They got Madden on all Madden. They playing like that.
That's horrible. You only got 85 passing yards. 85. That's embarrassing. Like for me, I wouldn't even try to. If I was a quarterback, I'd be like, bro, I'm done. I'll play receiver. Play running back, something. We doing wing T offense. That's not sure what they do. Wing T.
It sounds like it. A wing T.
Shoot, you only passed the ball 6 times in wing T, and after that, we just toting the rock.
You said dog was 3 for 5, so hey, it might have changed up to a wing T when you got the game.
And for a quarterback for wing T, 3 for 5 is there, and that's perfect.
You doing all right, dog. You gonna start next week.
Sure, I might need to go to Mississippi Valley and be a coach. Hey, let's get this wing T on the popping, boy. Shoot, we gonna control the swag with that. Shoot, what's up? Yeah, the SWAT refs, they've been on here for 2-3 weeks in a row. Just the FAMU and Grambling game, it was like it was a ref game. It wasn't even a FAMU and Grambling game. It was a refs game. They was throwing flags left and right, calling stuff that wasn't even necessary to call, and just some other games too. It's like, what are you doing? Like, where do y'all get y'all refs from? Walmart? Like, y'all just the SWAT just sit out a Walmart and be like, do you want to ref today's game? Oh, okay. Hey, we giving out $200 for the game. Oh, $200? Oh, okay, I'll ref too. What do I do? Just throw a little couple flags. You know, you do this and do this. That's all you need to know. Yeah. And they was like, all right, shoot, I can do that. But
that's right.
I'd rather have the MEAC refs than the SWAT refs. I mean, the MEAC refs they way better than the SWAT right now. So, they got to do something about that, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Shoot, Jones right here. He just played a horrible game. When you had 9 for 24, only 90 yards, that's just horrible.
Yeah,
I can't do nothing with that, especially against the Jackson State team.
What you mean? Especially against Jackson State, that should be an excuse.
Bruh, that's not an excuse, bruh, because other quarterbacks have thrown for more yards.
Hold on. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. So the program has not been doing good, BCU, because of what's going on down there with their facilities. So I don't know if they're able to practice.
But my thing is this, Jerry. If your game plan, you're gonna throw the ball, then like you need to set up protection to throw the ball. Yeah. If you need a tight end and a fullback and a running back in there, then damn, that's what you need to have. Right? Yeah. It's certain ways to do things, and it's certain ways to get your ass beat. And this is the way to get your ass beat.
Yeah, you got a point. Got a point.
Sure. And we just gonna go to Edwards right here, UAPB quarterback, 8 for 14 for 39 yards and 2 interceptions. That boy wasn't even trying. He was still asleep. His breath still smelled like Similac.
2 INTs, 39 yards.
That boy throwing up ducks.
Throwing up ducks, dog. It's people that have more rushing yards and touchdowns than he had as a quarterback. Like passing yards. That's crazy. That's crazy, dog.
Some teams got more catches.
Yeah. 100% right, dog.
That's sad. And yeah, that's just sad. I all y'all better stay in the dorm. All y'all better stay in the dorm, man. But MEAC game and other HBCU games of the week. We got North Carolina A&T versus Robert Morris. That is their conference game. So A&T is looking very good in the conference, and they're in the same conference with Campbell. So just keep an eye out on A&T. They was predicted to win first in their conference. Let me look at this right now to see what they look like in their conference.
I think last time I checked, they had lost a couple games.
Yeah, I know they lost a couple of games. No, it's not Big Sky, it's Big South.
Yep.
Yeah, so week 8. Let me go to now. Trying to think what is their record in the conference?
In the conference?
Yeah. So right now they're 1-0 in the conference.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Yeah, they're 1-0 in the conference, and they play right now Robert Morris team that haven't won a game, that lost 2 in the conference. So I'm predicting for A&T to win this game. Definitely, they should win this game. They're coming off a 3-game winning streak, so. Hopefully they produce. They should produce this game. Delaware State versus Howard. Last time I picked Howard, they got their ass beat. They played. I can say about Howard. They played Harvard and Yale pretty good. They did better than what I expected them to do.
Ain't no football school?
Huh?
Howard? You said Harvard and Yale?
Yeah.
Man,
I know that ain't. But guess what, Jerry? To me, when that's out of conference game, they put up numbers. They put up points. They didn't just put up 7 or 10. They actually put up some points. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at that as far as putting up points, and you're coming off a motivational tactic. It's like, okay, we did good. Now we're in conference play. But, Delaware State, don't sleep on them boys now.
Them boys at Howard and Yale, they only practice half the week. They be in study hall doing homework the other 2 days. Them boys about to cure cancer, but they ain't worried about no football game.
Oh, so my dog Jerry said y'all better pick Delaware State. Yeah. At the end of the day, Howard, I ain't picking Howard, but yeah, Delaware State, you better win. That's all I'm saying. Because last time I picked Howard.
No, I tell you right now, you pick Howard to win, they'll be winning at halftime, and then they end up losing the game. You gonna say how? That's a how and Howard. How you lose that?
But hey, like their motto, they don't care about athletics. So why should we?
Ooh, boy.
They don't care about athletics. Why should we? Oh God, I'm gonna skip this next game because that's the game of the week right here. You got Richmond and Hampton. It's gonna be a good game for Hampton. It's gonna show their skilled players why they're so skilled. But at the end of the day, Richmond, yeah, Richmond, Richmond, pretty good school. So I'm gonna go with Richmond in that game. Okay. But that can be a sleeper. It can be a sleeper. So next game we got Morgan State versus Delaware. This game, I'm gonna go with Morgan State. They're gonna rebound back from that loss that they took, and I feel like they're gonna win this game right here. So I got Morgan State over Delaware. What you got, Jerry?
Hey, I got Delaware, man. I got Delaware. I don't think Morgan State is really that good of a team this year. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily think Delaware is a good team either. I'm not saying one is better than the other one, but I do think Delaware is going to win this game. And I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a couple points over 20 for both teams, but I think Delaware's going to win it.
Definitely. And we got East Illinois versus Tennessee State. Tennessee State is a shaky team. I give Eddie George one more year. They breakout year. I think next year is going to be that breakout year for Tennessee State. He's still trying to rebuild that program, still trying to solidify themselves, as one of the top HBCU teams in college football. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to go with Eastern Illinois. Just off the fact that Tennessee State is kind of a shaky team. We don't know which team is going to show up.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad analysis on that team, man. I do like Tennessee State. I like how they're changing that program around. But they have been showing struggles here and there. It's like an up and down team. But I'll actually take. Yeah, I got to go with Eastern Illinois as well.
Definitely. But both of the teams are 2-4. Tennessee State does have a conference win, and Eastern Illinois they're 1-1 in a conference. So, it just depends on what they can do. I feel like they're not going to show. I just feel like they're not going to show up this game. That's just my honest opinion. I can't say this is going to be a close game. Just by statistic wise, they're neck and neck as far as every category, as far as receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks. So,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like Eastern Illinois should win this game.
I think honestly, some of the teams in that conference are pretty good. Eastern Illinois conference, so I do think they have a lot more competition that have played thus far. Versus Tennessee State.
Yeah, definitely. And the SWAC games, SWAC games. We got Texas Southern versus Alcorn State. We got Mr. Andrew Body versus McNair, aka Air. This game is gonna be a good game. It depends on coaching as far as Texas Southern. Can they coach around Andrew Body? Can they coach to his talents? Can they coach to his strengths, not weaknesses? If Texas Southern can coach to Andrew Body's strengths, I feel like they can win this game. But, as far as, Alcorn State, as far as McNair, he's there for a reason. He's been there for a long time for a long reason. And he knows how to out-coach people. He knows how to get his players motivated after a loss. So I feel like Alcorn State will win this game. They'll come out on top. I feel like it's going to be around the 20 area as far as scoring range. But I feel like Alcorn State will come out on top.
I kind of agree with you, man. Alcorn State has a very good program. Even though the mishap they had this past weekend, I do think this is a rebound game to kind of get everything back together. I do see them beating Texas Southern. I got it 28-17.
Okay, cool. Now this game right here, boy, I don't know what the score gonna be in this next game. Benedict, I almost say Benedict, but Bethune-Cookman University and Mississippi Valley. Boy, if I was a betting man, I would not bet on this game.
No, sir.
Because you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know if you're going to get people showing up at the games. You don't even know if people going to stay in their dorms. But at the end of this day, all I know is this. Mississippi Valley going to score 21 points. They going to score 21 points this game. I don't know how they're gonna score 21 points, but I feel like it's gonna be a close game. I feel like I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna give them this one. And it's at Mississippi Valley gonna win this game.
You ain't saying nothing crazy, dog. You ain't saying nothing crazy. I mean, to me, they put out more like their production has looked better overall to me. Bethune, their struggles. We know what they're going through as a program. We know how the output they put out last week. I don't expect those struggles to be solved within this next week. So I don't think VCU is gonna win this game. I got Mississippi Valley State 28, probably 10, 28-10.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. See, if Bethune couldn't lose, it is what it is. Like, I ain't even like batting an eye. I ain't even crying. I ain't even gonna say what happened. I'm gonna be like, oh well, And then if Mississippi Valley State win, I'll be like, oh well, it's just one of them oh well things. It's
right.
Like it's like the Lions and Washington Commanders. Somebody gotta win.
Them Lions put up some points now.
Yeah.
It might be the Panthers and the Commanders. The Lions put up some points. They just can't stop nobody.
Exactly. So the two suspension teams down at the bottom, these games really ain't gonna count. These games really ain't gonna do nothing. Like, we all know they're going to win this game. I feel like they should be, Prairie View gonna win against Lamar. I mean, it is what it is. And Southern gonna Virginia. Why is everybody scheduling Virginia Lynchburg?
Sorry, dog.
Bruh. Like, when they gonna man up and score? Like, come on, Virginia Lynchburg. Bruh.
Every game I have seen with this team playing, they have lost by 40 points.
Bruh, my thing is this. The whole HBCU land scheduled this team. Not just 2 or 3 HBCUs. All the HBCUs scheduled this team. Like, all of them. Like, oh yeah, we need you. Yeah.
Put them on the board, dog.
Yeah.
Put them on the board.
Yeah. Come here, son. Yeah.
Dog, I'll play against them. We beat them by 70.
Yeah, bro. They need to do something. They just need to stop. They need to learn the word no. Virginia Lynchburg, your word for next year is no. We do not want to play y'all. We do not want to see y'all. We do not want to even think about y'all.
That's their word for this year. Y'all gonna win any games? No.
Oh God, that's hilarious. That is hilarious, man. Game of the week right here, man. This gonna be a good game. I don't care what a lot of people said. This is gonna be a game that's won in the trenches with both teams. Like, this game gonna be won in the trenches. So South Carolina State, keys to success to win a game. Definitely run the ball. You have to run the ball. You have to run the ball because that's your bread and butter. That's just who you are right now. You really don't have quarterbacks that can throw the ball like that. So just run the ball, stick to what you know. Just don't overdo it. Don't let your quarterback throw over 25 pass attempts. Please don't let your you got to do it. You got 2 quarterbacks. So they in and out. You gotta really be analytical this game as far as which quarterback is going to throw the ball. You have to really be smart about that as far as, which quarterback's going to throw, what receivers I have in there to throw to. So if they throw under 25 passes, I feel like South Carolina State can win that game on offense. So make sure they just get it to your playmakers like Shaq and a couple other boys. Get one turnover on defense. Definitely just get one turnover. You don't have to do too much, to rattle this North Carolina Central team, blitz a little bit, show some stuff they ain't saw before on defense. Just be physical. Just be physical. You'll get that one turnover. And play South Carolina State football. You're coming off a homecoming. You got to win. You feeling good about yourself. You're at home. You're in Orangeburg. Let's play South Carolina State football. Jerry, what's your analysis for South Carolina State,
man? They have to run the ball. Yeah, you're correct, completely correct. They have a lot of great running backs. Not good running. They have a lot of great running backs that can get some yards up on you real quick. And their quarterback system, it's not been too good. I do know they have a weapon outside with Shaq, but if you don't have anybody that can throw the ball to him in the correct position, you do want to stick on the ground a little bit more. That's the main thing I got, man, is just running the ball. And for their defense, man, they got to get some pressure on that quarterback. The quarterback's been playing well, not only in the passing game, but in the running game, too. So you got to have put a QB spy on him, have something so he's not able to rush as much as he has done in the last couple of games. And get him kind of hit him a couple of times, make him round up, get him kind of shaking back there. And if he gets a turnover, it'll be good for him. Yeah. That's the main thing I got for South Carolina State. It's very thin line, I think, because I think this North Carolina Central team is a great team. That's what I'll say.
Absolutely. For North Carolina, be physical. You don't want to be out physical. That's just not a good game. That's a long game for you if you getting out physical. So just be physical with this team because they're going to come to play. They're going to come to shut you in their mouth. And with South Carolina State, they play to their talent. They don't necessarily play above their talent. Not at times. They play to their talent. So you're going to get the best South Carolina State team when you show up in Orangeburg. O-line has to win in the game. The O-line has to control everything. If the O-line controls that defense, it is game over. You can see it. They're probably going to score 40 if that O-line controls the game. That's one thing I can say. Because if the O-line controls that game and Richardson out there throwing that thing, running that thing around, looking like Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, then this game over. This point blank period, this game over. Don't make mistakes. That's on offense and defense. Make sure you stay tuned into your reads. Don't overlook the trick plays because the trick plays will get you. South Carolina State will pull a trick play out their playbook, and you'll be looking like how, who, and what, and why. And all 5 W's you be asking yourself, and your ass will be on the bench asking yourself who, what, when, where, why. And let Richardson get loose. Man, he's one of the best quarterbacks. I say he's top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in HBCU. Yeah, and HBCUs. He's like one of the best quarterbacks. So let him get loose. Let him get jiggy. Let him scramble around a little bit. Let him make some completions. Once he get loose, man, it's a done deal.
Yeah. I agree with him. I think he made a good thing here. What you put together here. For me, I just want North Carolina Central. I want them to play their football. Play North Carolina Central football. Don't be kind of caught up in the game of playing South Carolina State. The previous history that South Carolina State has. It can be kind of like, oh man, this is a great program, a great team. So I'm getting scared to play them. Play North Carolina Central football. You got that 5-1 record for a reason, and keep playing your game. One thing I do want them to kind of minimize on is penalties. Penalties can eat you up alive if you're playing against a team. Honestly, I don't think South Carolina State is as good as North Carolina Central. That's just my point of view. So if you're playing against a team that's not as evenly matched as what you think, penalties will make that gap even smaller. So make sure you keep the penalties off the board. So, and again, Richard, he's been playing good ball. Running backs been playing good ball. Receivers, good ball. So just have a balanced offense. That's what I think they need to have. Don't rely on Richard too much. He's a great quarterback, but if you pass 90% of the game, the defense will know that. So keep it balanced. Keep them on their toes. They have a good people on both sides of the ball. People on running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends. They have a lot of depth on this team. So make sure you utilize that. Utilize all the weapons that you have. So South Carolina State will not be in the game with you guys.
Definitely. Sure. And you already know this next game, man. The next game. This is the game of the week right here. This game gonna mean a lot for a lot of people. It's just it is what it is. This game is really like one of the games that everybody looking forward to. Everybody looking forward to watch. This game is at 3 p.m. on ESPN Plus. I don't know why this game is not on ESPN2 or ESPN, but hey, it is what it is. This game is on ESPN Plus. You got Campbell, that's 4-2. Then you got Jackson State. They in a vet. It's their homecoming, 60,000 blue and white pom-poms in unison. Y'all already know. Dun, 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 dun. But, just this whole week, how Prime does, he promotes this game. And the coach from Campbell said he never been in an HBCU environment. Mm-hmm. That's something scary that can either do two things. That can excite you or it can give you a culture shock. And at the end of the day, you don't want to come to a place where you're in a culture shock because you're so like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I never felt this, I never felt this environment before. Right. Exactly. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a good game. I think this is what JSU needed for just outside competition. They're running through the SWAT like it ain't nothing, and they need outside competition. And this is one of their outside competitions. And Campbell said, we're going to treat this like a playoff game. Mm. That's what he basically said. We're looking into the future. We know we got a good team, and it's going to be a playoff game. But for Campbell, get 2 turnovers. Get Shedeur rattled in the backfield. I don't care if you get 2 turnovers. You have to get it through quarters 1 through 3. Don't get it in the fourth quarter. Get your 2 turnovers to 1 through 3. That means it's going to be a competitive game. You got Shedeur rattled a little bit. And you know now you can control the game. The O-line has to set up the whole game. Like that's their bread and butter. They got one of the biggest offensive lines in FCS that can move. They go quick tempo. So, if you have a big offensive lineman, you usually don't go quick tempo. Mm-hmm. These boys can move. These boys can get up on the line. When they get that first down, just know, ain't no sub in Jackson State. We here for how many yards we got? 70, 80, 50. We here, Campbell, get to the quarterback. You have to get to Shedeur. Shedeur is slimy. He's slippery. He's elusive. And like sometimes I'll be like, how did he get out of that? Like how? Make sure you get to the quarterback. Make him make bad decisions. And at the end of the day, your offense has to run the ball.
Yeah. Another good one, Ron. Campbell, man, this team has a great program. I actually was recruited by Campbell when I was in high school, man, and they were on the turning around of that program. For them to win, I think they have to remain calm. Like you said, this is at Jackson State. We're going to have players that are wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and, looking at what's going on. It's like, hey, man, I don't know. I've never been in an environment like this. Campbell University in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina is not what it's like at JSU. JSU is going to go crazy for them. So you got to be able to stay focused in this environment. Get some pressure on Shedeur. Shedeur is one of the best quarterbacks that we have seen in HBCU right now this year. So you got to get some pressure on them. Get some pressure on those guys, and turn the ball over real quick. If you kind of show these guys how good you are as a team, they might tuck their tails because they have very few games that have been behind by a lot of points early on. That's what I got.
Definitely. For Jackson State, I mean, I want to say just do the same thing you've been doing, but I want to kind of be a little bit elaborate, go in detail. Control the line of scrimmage. That's for defense and offense. Control the line of scrimmage. Once you control that line of scrimmage, especially with that offensive line they have, if you control that, you won the game, hands down. You beat Campbell. But for Jackson State, how long can you control that line of scrimmage? Mm-hmm. Can you control all 4 quarters? Just don't control the 1 quarter because you still got 3 quarters left. So it's how you control it. How you control the line of scrimmage the whole game for Jackson State. Be physical. You matching up with some 280, 290, 300-pound linemen that can move. You have to be physical this game. You have to do the hitting first. You can't get hit first. JSU have to come out there and basically throw a haymaker first. They have to stun Campbell. And I feel like that's one of the ways to beat a team to get them second guessing themselves is stun them in the first quarter. And we all know it's homecoming. We all know all the festivities come with homecoming. You have late nights, early mornings. Everybody come back in town. Your mama, your daddy, your granny, your cousin, your cousin's cousin. You say he your cousin, he really ain't your cousin. You was your roommate. So everybody coming back in town, man. The campus ain't never gonna feel like this until next year. The set gonna be popping. Stay focused, man. Stay focused and stay off them phones.
Stay off them phones.
Stay off them phones. Y'all know what I'm. Stay off them phones.
Hey man, I think you're 100% right, man. A lot of this stuff they got going on, they have to stay focused. With it being homecoming, it is everything going on. I know when I was in school, man, homecoming, we would go out the night before. We would be out there partying with everybody, going to the comedy show, going to the club the night before the game, and then go out there and win because we're playing a team that wasn't good. But JSU, you cannot do that. This Campbell University team is a good team. So you got to stay focused. Something else you have to do: get out early on this Campbell team and get the momentum on your side. You get them down a couple touchdowns. The crowd's gonna be rocking. It's gonna be homecoming. It's gonna be hard for them to kind of turn things around on you. The last thing I want to say is the defense has to get some pressure on that quarterback, on that offense. The offensive line is very good, as you stated, man. So if we can use our speed. A lot of times when having a big, oversized offensive line, these guys aren't as agile. They might have speed, but their agility is when they usually lack in size. And the thing about HBCU is most of our guys, we have quicker ends, and we have fast guys. So we want to use that to our advantage to get pressure on the quarterback, pressure on the running backs. So if we can do that, I do think Jackson State can come out this game with a win.
Definitely. This game is crazy. I've been trying to figure out who is going to score, what the score is going to look like. I was like, man, what can I do to, at the end of the day, I feel like, just offensive line. I feel like Campbell's going to win this game. I feel like Campbell's going to win this game, and it's going to be a score of 31-28.
Man, why you copying me so much today, man? And we did not discuss this, y'all. He is copying me. To me, man, I've done some research on Campbell. I've seen them play in person, and this program is a well-developed program. They're a well-oiled machine. Right now, they're 4-2. They have their head coach, Mike Mentor. He's also an NFL retiree. He played for the Carolina Panthers. So that program is going in the right direction. And I do think that this game, against Jackson State will be the test of their season for Jackson State. This team, Campbell University, played against North Carolina Central. If we look at North Carolina Central, they have beaten them. They have beaten North Carolina Central in the past. The only 2 games that they have lost this year were East Carolina and William & Mary. Both of those teams, East Carolina is a big-time Power 5. Well, they're Power 5 school. So Them, and then William Mary. I think William Mary is 4-2 or 5-1. They have a pretty good team as well.
Yeah, William Mary's ranked too. So and they lost to William Mary only by like 16 points.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. So I do see this Campbell team giving Jackson State their first loss of the year. I do see the score being in the 30s as well, Ron. I see it 34-28. I see it being really close.
Yeah. Like I said, the only thing I give to this Campbell team is their offensive line and just their packages and how they can utilize the offensive line, their tight ends, their fullbacks, and their running backs. I see that as a problem. To me, I feel like this is almost the same game plan as South Carolina State did last year, as far as they're going to get out physical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like if Campbell win this game, we are really going to see how Jackson State bounce back on their next game.
Yeah. One thing I can say, man, about, HBCU football, comparing it to PWI football, what I've noticed playing in both different, levels of PWI and HBCU, PWIs do not commit the same amount of mistakes in the game as HBCUs. That is if you look up the stats on the penalties in the game, it is nowhere close. A lot of times, like teams like Campbell, they have very few penalties, or not as many penalties as a lot of the schools that, like Jackson State. A lot of our schools, we get too involved in our emotions, talking junk, and then they get carried away. If Jackson State can minimize their penalties, that will help them out a lot. Offsides calls, illegal formation calls, holding penalties. If we can minimize those penalties, Jackson State will win this game.
Definitely. So, mine 31-28. What was your score, Jerry?
Mine was, I think, 34. I think that's what I said, 34-28. I want to change it. I think it's going to be a bigger margin.
You think it's going to be bigger?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think it's going to be a bigger margin. I think it might be a 34-21. I think there's going to be a couple touchdowns that I have to score, like 2 touchdowns. They'll have to score 2 to win. So 34-21 is what I got.
Okay, cool. But shoot, thank everybody for tuning in, man. Thank you. This was our recap of week 7. We did the two games of the week. Make sure y'all be safe out here. Make sure y'all watch plenty of football for me and Jerry and for everybody else, so you can be in the chats, talk about some upcoming events, talk about other people's homecomings. And definitely follow the Pre-Snap Read on Twitter and IG. Subscribe, like, share. Bridges on Top. That's my platform. And make sure you like Offscript 2.0 too. He letting us use his platform to bring to y'all so we can reach more people. So thank you, Offscript. And Jerry, got anything to say?
Hey man, follow me on IG, man. BOOQER_T Booker T. And follow me on Twitter as well. I'm good _son.
Definitely. And this is the Pre-Snap Read, and we out.